Welcome back, beautiful souls. This is Soldier of Light reporting for duty. And I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. For all of you who may not catch my lives, hopefully you get an opportunity to catch a live. I know that a lot of you have been complaining or concerned about not getting the notifications. And somehow that a lot of, even my last show, at least a good chunk of 20 plus, 30 plus people said the same thing. They received no notification of anything that was going on. So I noticed it's a pattern going on, and obviously that, as you all know, that the dark, whoever owns YouTube, which is Google, which is in turn the CIA, they don't want good information being put out because the last thing they want is for people to be empowered and people to want to take their power back, stand strong in their faith with God, stand in the light, and learn the truth about what's going on in the world because it is a movie. It's very twisted. And just for instance, even if you don't watch sports, today, for instance, or yesterday, Aaron Rodgers was traded to the New York Jets from the Green Bay Packers. And his predecessor before him, Brett Favre, also played for Green Bay for a long time and then was traded to the Jets. Do you think that's a coincidence that these things happen in repetitive, terms? That these things keep reoccurring? That's the same thing that you're seeing play out on the big stage. That's panics, wars, financial panic. That's what I mean by panics, not anything else. It's regarding, financial panics, bankruptcies, and that's just foreclosure. It's so that the banks can foreclose on all the property that they've already owned, believe it or not, for many years. So this is our job. I just wanted to pull some cards just for the next 2 weeks to see how things are going. Just stay strong, okay? I lost another 5 people yesterday on my YouTube channels. I just keep losing chunks and chunks of people, and I know that's part of the game. I understand you're going to lose subscribers, you're going to gain subscribers, but every time I post something or anytime that there's activity, literally it's like clockwork. I lose subscribers right away. So either way, my channel hasn't grown. It's lost subscribers, which makes no sense to me. But it is what it is. So, and I really could care less at this point when it comes to this because I know that the dark is already lost. They lost the moment they started to go the other direction from the light. So, just want to let you guys know like this. I am the living law is what the shirt says, which is true. You are the living law as a man and as a woman created by God, the creator. And I just want you guys all to know that you're so powerful. You're so strong. That's why the dark has to work and expend so much energy to try to cover up lie after lie after lie after lie, and it would get exhausting, for sure. Trying to cover lies, and that's because of the theft. They have to cover the lies for the theft, and I'm not talking about the bullshit elections and all that stuff that they put out there because guess what? That's why none of these people have ever been tried for treason or hung, anything like that, because guess what? Our Constitution was gone the moment the bankruptcy came. That makes it null and void. So that's why that they've been able to operate freely. No accountability. That's in every senator, every House representative, individual that has been elected or selected. Let me selected is what it really is. They've known. They've known this for a long time, and that's why there's been no accountability. That's why you don't see these oaths of office, these things that they're supposed to put in with that says that they're going to uphold the Constitution of the United States. They don't have to do that because there isn't a Constitution. That's why they can run nilly-willy and just do whatever the heck they want, and because there's no accountability. So just so you know, even people you think are good know exactly what's going on in those high government offices. They're all puppets. They're all been put there for a reason. And I'm a Trump supporter too. But you know what? He plays both sides of the fence because I know he has to at this time. But we'll know the truth when it's meant to come out. So I just want to let you guys know that the stuff that you're seeing play out, the banks have already crashed. FYI, Spirits told me that a long time ago, and they just haven't. I'm talking about the dark, the CIA, the FEB, the FBI, the FEB, because that's what they are. So, and all the, the three-letter agencies, the Five Eyes, all those people that spy on us 24/7, 365, and have been since at least the 50s, if not before then. And just to say, you know what, they've been watching, they're watching everything. This is all playing out. It has to play out the way it does. They're not the ones, they're the ones that haven't put the information out yet, because it's already done. It's already done deal. And that our reserve currency, the Federal Reserve debt note, that's a good thing they were getting away from that. Don't let any politician, including Trump, I know he has to say the things he's got to say about this is a disaster for the United States. Guess what? We've run the world with that little piece of debt note paper that somebody says is worth something, because it's not. And also, another thing that really upsets me lately is the discussion of the debt. Let me tell you something. The debt only belongs to that 10 square miles of Washington, D.C. That debt does not belong to the people. That debt belongs to the corporation of the United States. That debt belongs to the Federal Reserve Bank, which has nothing to do with our treasury, nothing to do with our government. Nothing. It's a privately owned organization that is run out of Puerto Rico and all these nice tax-free places that they like to run around and masquerade as government departments. So just so you know, so that's who's run this. And if you don't think that the New World Order, that's already been enacted. The moment they took over the financial system of the world with that fiat debt note, that's when the New World Order literally took over. So our job is to break out of this matrix. That's what's been happening. Things are going to get bumpy. They just haven't. They have to find creative ways to distract. Why do you think all this stuff has been going on? It's to distract people when literally the stock market's crashing. The dollar is worthless. Toilet paper is worth more than that. At least you can, at least with a dollar bill, you probably could wipe your butt pretty efficiently. I would say with the same as a toilet paper. The inflation, all this crazy stuff that you see going on, this world war with this goon that's a drooler that's supposed to be in charge and leading us into this. This is all how this is. There's a pattern to this. Literally, this has been going on. Create a panic, okay? Panic. Oh, the markets are going to crash. All this stuff. So guess what happens when the panic comes? We got to find a solution to this so we can start to recollect and repossess and foreclose on all this property around the world. And how do we do that? Let me think. Oh yeah, we create a war so we can funnel money. And you know that the sides that are funded, do you know that the winner of the wars have always decided or said that they were going to pick up the tab, the debt that's accumulated for these wars. So the winner, the victor, always takes the debt on because they're supposed to help rebuild. What's the purpose? Think about that even in general. What's the purpose of that? What's the purpose of destroying a country for whatever your personal reason was that the bankers have, and then turn around and say, you know what, now you're responsible for rebuilding it? And did you know that's the reason why the fiat dollar is actually was in circulation around the world? Because every time a war is won, that country takes over the, like I mentioned, the debt from that war. But then also their currency can be used to pay for these debts. That's how these wars are developed. These are all contracts that are written way in advance before this stuff happens. Somebody's funding these wars because you're creating cash into just money. It's the bankers. It's the bankers. And so that's what's going on now. They're creating panic. The runs on the banks, panic. All this stuff is going to happen so they can lead that into a war, because this is the playbook. Literally, the playbook is so black and white. And so it's brilliant if you think about it, but it's not brilliant, because once you figure it out, it's like clockwork, man. That's why these things keep happening. I just use that example for the Packers today, or for the Green Bay Packer thing with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. There's a reason why these things happen in patterns. That's why it's called the Matrix. Any town in USA, all these travels that I've been all over the country, so many of these towns look identical. So many things. It's the matrix patterns. It's the matrix. Everything is put into a matrix, and that's the reason why that these things happen. So these escalations of the World War III and now South Korea and these wars, and you know what? At this point, I mean everything that's spouted from any person, and I'm going to use them as persons because even though they know they're not persons, that they're all national, state nationals as well. But as I mentioned, citizens, residents, and persons, you don't want to be any of them. Those are all slave terms. And even these people, oh, a sovereign citizen, there's no such thing as a sovereign citizen. You're either sovereign as a sovereign man or sovereign woman, or you're a citizen. Those two terms don't go together. People are making things up all off on the whim. So because that comes back to no accountability. Even Trump with the stuff that he says. I know he's playing both sides of the fence, but he's also a politician. So he's also being maneuvered. I know people say military, but he's also having to make maneuvers based on the bankers and based on the things that come across the desk. So what I'm getting at is we are the saviors of what needs to happen. We the people need to stand up and start to take charge of our own lives because we've handed it over freely. That's how this has worked. This is free will. We've given our free will to the dark to do whatever they want because we haven't educated ourselves. We've been put inside of a box. We're starting to jump out of this box now. These seeds are sprouting above the ground. So we're growing into something beautiful. So I just want to let you know you're very powerful when it comes to the situation. So I'm going to go ahead and ask my cards just for the next 2 weeks, just to see what my cards have for, just in general, just to see what Spirit has for me and for us in general for the next 2 weeks, and maybe something we can see or whatever they can tell us for the next 2 weeks on our calendar as we know it. So I feel something in the next 2 weeks financially is going to come out. And I feel the Queen of Pentacles is the first card. So that tells me that there's something that's been going on financially. Something is going to be put into practice, is what I'm getting. But I also have that the Knight of Pentacles. So this is something that has been worked on for some time. That's what the next card I have. And that's also a tangible. A pentacle are hard, tangible things for me. And it tells me with the Knight of Pentacles, this is something that's been worked on, as I mentioned, for some time. Okay, but it also tells me that this is going to be more efficient financially. It's going to be more efficient, and I have the Temperance card, so it tells me whatever this is that you're going to see. They're also telling me that it won't. Maybe the financial system won't. The transition won't be as bad as what people are expecting it to be. But it also tells me there's a good omen with the Temperance card, and it's in divine timing. So it tells me that there's divine intervention with this situation, and balance and harmony will come because that's the center of the reading is balance and harmony. Then I have the Strength card. So it tells me great inner strength is going to be required here, I feel, in the future. So it also tells me like to remain strong and courageous during the situation. No matter what you see, it's all to distract, as I mentioned before I even started reading, and to kind of get you to lower your energy, to be angry, to be mad, to be focused on the negative. But what they're telling me is you're going to find great inner strength with this situation. You're going to find focus and to focus to help others. I have the Seven of Wands, so there's going to be some type of defensive energy, but it also tells me that the dark is trying to maintain control. And also tell me, Spirit's telling me they want you to maintain control. And tells me you're protected. So it also tells me with the Seven of Wands that the dark has been surrounded. So this is inevitable for what's going to happen. I have the Ace of Swords. So there's going to be some type of conflict. This conflict's going to be resolved, they're telling me. So it tells me there's going to be success, victory. There's going to be clarity, I feel, when it comes to maybe some type of breakthrough when it comes to the financial situation. And I have the Two of Wands. So this is something that's been planned for some time, okay? And it's making progress, is what they're telling me. So it tells me that there's going to be something discovered. Something's going to be brought to the light, is what I'm getting in the next couple of weeks. Then I have the Four of Swords. So Tells me that there's going to be a lot of contemplation. It tells me that this has been held back, and it's been cloaked. So whatever's been going on has been cloaked. So it tells me with the Four of Swords, there's going to be some type of renewal, is what I'm getting. Some type of renewal. And the Hanged Man. So there's going to be some type of an awakening. We're going to view things a little differently. But there's also tells me that this has been delayed. This has been delayed. There's going to be some type of surrender, I feel. So the dark is going to have to surrender, is what I'm getting. The Moon card, and there's fears about this. So there's going to be a lot of stuff put out that's going to be deceptive. There's going to be a lot of things brought to light, is what I'm getting, and it's going to be spoken. And I also feel like there's going to be the mystery is going to come out. All the things that have been kind of put in place, because I have the Devil card next. So it tells me that the dark is afraid. They're fearful of what's going on. And there's some type of toxic behaviors and attachments that are going to be broken, I feel, from the dark. Because we've been imprisoned. I have the Eight of Swords next. So it tells me that the Eight of Swords is we've been imprisoned. We've been held back. We've been trapped. We're prisoners of our own mind because they've been making us prisoners of our own mind. So that tells me that there's imprisonment, and there's going to be a tower moment that's coming. So it tells me maybe the tower is going to be revelation. It's going to be brought to light. It's going to be very disruptive in what I'm getting. But I feel with the Temperance card, it won't be as disruptive as what some people think. Because the Justice card comes out. So after the disruption, it's meant to happen. There's a cause and effect to this, is what I'm getting. But it also tells me that the imbalance is going to become balanced again. There's going to be clarity. There's going to be justice. And this will be a fair system, and it's not going to be a shady system. And I have the Six of Swords holding up my reading, so it tells me a transition now. We're moving out of troubled waters. We got to leave the old behind, the old baggage, is what it's telling me. And I see a bag of money. So it tells me the old bag of dollars that are going to be worth nothing. And it tells me that this is something that has to happen in order for us to transition into a new, beautiful future, moving out of troubled waters. So I feel within the next 2 weeks, we may see some things with the financial system. And I feel that's why the news has really been kicked up a lot lately, is to distract. Because there's still banks crashing all over the place. There's, the stock market is continuing to do ups and downs, as they're trying to, to rig the system as much as they can, but it's inevitable. That's what I just got. It's inevitable. It's already done. So what they're going to do is they're rolling this out, and they're trying to the white hats or the good guys are trying to make disruption as minimal as possible. So I feel it won't be as bad as what has been projected at times. There's going to be a lot of information that's being hit. Dan Bongino left, especially Tucker Carlson, Don Lemon. That's all distraction shit. That's all stuff to just keep you here while the magician does things over with this hand over here. So, and that's all it is distraction. Then it's, oh, well, now we have troops on the ground. We find out in Ukraine, oh, guess what? And then Biden signed an executive order sending troops to Sudan. And guess what happened yesterday? A Sudan biolab got busted and busted into and taken over and all this stuff. And so it's all a plan. This is all desperation for the dark. They're grasping at straws, and what I'm telling you is keep your head on a swivel. They're trying to rise up again. If you look at the stuff that's happened in Chicago with the teens, it's not Black Lives Matter, but that's exactly what it is, but they're just the youth version of it. The transgender stuff has really been pushed lately, and all the stuff on the news cycles. It's all to distract you, to make you go, huh? Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. When really that they're really worried about all the stuff that's going down, and the fact that our entire government is fraudulent and has been since 1933, when the Constitution was dissolved. And if you remember, Melania Trump put out something. I believe it was I don't know if it was 2020, when she said, "I look forward to signing the Constitution." With the president at the time, which was DJT. So that tells me if there's a new constitution involved, now they can be hung and tried for treason because there's a constitution that they can back up. Because when there's no constitution, that means under bankruptcy you move into maritime law. So it takes you off the land. That's the law of God, takes you off the land and pushes you into the water. That's why it's a bankruptcy. So it's like a river bank. That's why they call these terms. It's all underwater to keep you under the water, and so you can't breathe your air and be on the ground and take your sovereignty back and under God as a woman or a man created under God's image. So that's all it is. It's all a distract. So it tells me maybe there's some things that are going to come out with the financial system. That's a bunch of pentacles come out. So it tells me stay strong. Whatever you just stay focused. You're going to see a lot of distraction, a lot of different disinformation, a lot of misinformation, and it has been just flooding out purposely to distract because the Phoebe and the CIA, they're afraid. So and they should be, and the DOJ and the FDA, the bankers, because there's a breaking point that's going to happen, and you'll see when once we come together, like Q says, they won't be able to walk down the street, and there's a reason for that, because once people find out that their whole life has been a lie, we've been born into a debt slavery system that no one could ever get out of, and all it's going to continue to. You can't pay debt with debt. That's why that national debt just keeps increasing. Because guess who's owed to? The corporation that's been bankrupt. So you're telling me now that we have to? It's all made up stuff, man. It's all it is. So unfortunately, that some of this made up stuff and all the things that they're doing hurt people in the meantime, because that's what the evil does. They want to flip everything that God has given. We have so many abundant resources for the world. You can feed the entire. Did you know that you could feed put the entire population of the world and have their own little plot of land to grow food, and everyone would fit in the state of Texas? Did you know that? That should tell you we're not overpopulated like they say we are. They just want less people to control, and they keep it under 500 million, or right at the 500 million mark. That's because you're easier to control when the population is smaller. So that's why I just wanted to kind of jump onto that. It's been 20 minutes. So I hope that this message finds you well. I hope that this resonates with you guys. Stay strong, stay in the light. Don't be distracted, because there's going to be a lot of it's going to be a fire hose of distractions coming down the horn. So stay strong with God. God is with you. Stay strong with your guides, and all will be well. So love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Sending you all dragons. Soldier of light out.